Okay, so while we are waiting for Shankar is going to be teaching this class. I'll just share some announcements. So I think the live stream link is on, so people who are online should be able to see us and hear us. Um, Most of you have joined the WhatsApp group, so you can use that group to report any technical issues. So if the live stream link dies or the audio is not clear enough, you can let us know and somebody here will attend to it. And you can also use a WhatsApp group to ask any questions. This is really for people online. Those of you here, of course, can just ask questions anytime you like. And also we found that a lot of questions come up afterwards, so you go home and you try to practice it, and then you'll have more questions. So that's what the group is for. So we have some puja trays set up here. If many more people come, then we can assemble a few more. But right now we are thinking this is just to get you started and get you familiar with the process. So don't worry if you don't have a puja plate in front of you, or you can try to share it with a neighbor. All of the course material has already been shared. So if you registered for the class, you would have got a link with these slides, with that handout. Everything has already been shared. You won't need anything today, but once you go home, if you have that link, you can print it out or refer to it afterwards. That's pretty much it in terms of logistics. Any questions from anyone? Sorry? Yeah, so you can register, Rama. Even today you can register. What that will do is it will automatically send you a link to this Google Drive course folder, which has the slides and handouts and everything. So that would be the easiest way to do it. Even you, sir, if you've not registered, you will get all of that automatically by email. Everything is in the link that you get. There's a link to join the WhatsApp group. So all that information is provided. We have, this is a nice turnout today. Typically for these classes, we have about this number in person and about 40 or 50 online. So even today is the same way. We have people, I think about 50 people total. And some people have registered from places like Malaysia and Singapore, Australia, and so on. So it's a pretty global audience. So I think while Shankar is on his way, I can just introduce. This class is meant to be sort of the introduction for really beginners. If you are curious how to do a puja, what is the basic idea of a puja, why do we do puja, what is the concept? So at the most basic level, it tries to explain what the puja is. If you go to srividya.org/classes, you can see our complete calendar for the year. So we have more classes coming up later in the year as well. I can talk about that later, but for now, maybe Shankar, you can take over.
Oh. Okay. शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये प्रज्ञानां ब्रह्मयमात्मा ब्रह्मतत्त्वमस्यहं ब्रह्मास्मि ॐ हं सच्शिवस्सोऽहं हंसः हसकफ्रेमदक्षमलवरयूं सौं साक्षमलवरयीं सह स्वरूपनिरूपणहेतवे स्वगुरवे श्रीमज्ञानाम्बिकासमेत श्रीचैतन्यानन्दनाथ श्रीगुरुश्रीपादुकां पूजयामि दर्पयामि नमः. Okay, namaskaram everybody. Welcome to the class on puja. Okay, probably this time I would want to change the format of this class a little bit, not a whole lot, a little bit. Earlier I used to mix the back end meaning of it with the front end procedure. This time, initially we'll just go ahead with the procedure, what we do, the brass tacks part of it. Then after that, we will discuss, I use the word discuss, we'll discuss the esoteric meaning or the subtle meaning behind each step that we perform in this puja process. Okay. Now with that said, how many of you have are introduced to the process of puja? What are maybe the process? How many of you are There could be some totally alien to the puja vidhanam. There could be some who knows a little bit about it. There could be some people who know way too much about it, sitting here. Okay, so how many of you have a modicum of exposure to puja? Little bit, good. Little bit. So each one of you already know, for the most part, for the most of you already know something about what puja is. What is that? Iladarani. That's okay. So, okay. Before we really go deep into this, I would want to ask, what exactly have you guys known about puja? Let us start that way. Puja. How many of you speak Telugu here? Only 1, 2, 3, 4. Any more? Okay. Okay. So, what have you known, or what have you perceived or understood what is meant by puja? Puja ante enti? What is meant by puja? Pardon? Pray to the God. Okay. Offering something to God. You mean bribing? Bribing God? Oh, I thought it was already. This is better? That's for me after the class is over or something? Okay. Okay. So, puja is a ritual. Okay. Then, what else? What do you mean by worshipping God? Okay. So what else? Any more inputs? Because your inputs is going to provide me a direction as to what exactly and how exactly I should present from my side. The way we interact with God. Okay. Then what else? How to experience God in our life is puja. So what is meant by puja? As you understand, excuse me, what is meant by puja? Peace of mind. Peace of mind is puja, or you get peace of mind by doing puja? No, I'm not asking why you do it. I'm asking you, what exactly is this process about? Okay. In Narada Bhakti Sutrams, of course, don't ask me the detail of Narada Bhakti Sutram, I know only one sentence out of it. Okay? Swaswarupānusandhānam bhaktirityavidhiyate. Swaswarupa anusandhanam. You are trying to identify yourself as one with the cause you adore. Call it Lakshmi, call it Saraswati, call it Shiva, call it Vishnu, call it yourself. Okay? Swaswarupa anusandhanam bhaktihi iti abhidhiyate. He speaks about bhakti. Now, puja, methodology, puja is essentially a methodology. Okay? The methodology that is adapted to realize this sense of bhakti or this sense of oneness with the cause you adore. Because some people they say, I am an atheist. I do not believe in this. But he believes in something. He believes in something which says that you shouldn't believe in this. So that belief is his God. Okay? So, swaswarupa anusandhanam. He becomes a devotee if he is devoted to that belief. People, what they say, I'm an atheist. If I say loudly, probably Murugan may become angry. I just want to, otherwise I don't believe in God. That's where people, samshayatma vinachyati. The destruction of a personality happens when the guy neither believes that nor believes this. He is basically doing something out of fear. If you have seen the Star Wars, fear is the path of, what is that? Fear is the path of darkness, right? Yeah, this is it. The dark energy, fear is the path of darkness. Same thing. They copied quite a few of these concepts from these things. In fact, if you look at Matrix, the movie, the directors, it seems they did intense study of the Hindu philosophy and things like that, borrowed some concepts, and then built the story on that. Okay. Anyway, I keep talking about movies every once in a while because I watch a lot of movies again and again, the same movies, not new movies. That's my wife always complains, what is this? Every time you are doing Ashtotram of that movie, this thing. Keep on watching the same thing. So, anyway. So, the methodology to realize a particular state of mind. The state of mind can be peace, can be happiness, can be satisfaction. You want something, as I said, bribe God. There's nothing wrong. Bribe God. Go to Tirupati, look, if I get $1 million, I'll give you $100,000. But this is a very silly bargain for God. God, why would you say, if I can get $1 million myself, why should I get 100,000 for you to give $1 million? Doesn't make sense, right? But still, we do that. That's sauda. So we try to strike a bargain. That's fine. But why do we strike that bargain? In the sense, it is such a losing bargain for God, right? Why would even God agree to that? Basically here, we are trying to realize our own self. And then we are trying to loan $1 million from ourselves and then putting in a small deposit of $100,000 or whatever in return. But whatever you have borrowed, ultimately at one point you have to give it away. That is something else. If not in this lifetime or whatever, you have to give it away. In fact, as one of the gurus, they put it, every atom in your body is a loan. Okay? When you leave, you have to give away every atom. There are only two ways. Either you can give it away voluntarily or you can give it away crying. It's up to you, but still you have got to give it away. Anyway, with that said, the procedure of performing the puja, okay, they have categorized it into so many ways. So many, versions or so many methods. Okay. The ideal method, it is also known as the Divya Bhavam. Sit like that, get lost in oneself. That's paramount. Paramount. But even to get there, it's not easy for all of us, right? We just sit here. Suddenly we smell that, which is that? Columbia coffee. Have some cookies and some coffee. This thing, Komodo Dragon coffee. High intense this thing, right? Very strong coffee in Starbucks. So they get in, you smell, over, distracted. Or you, no, I'm not interested. Suddenly some child will cry, hey, shut up, why are you doing that? Over, your focus is lost, right? So we are all humans. We are bound by that kind of emotions and distractions. So once again, it comes back to the point, the objective of this methodology, several methodologies, is to just make yourself tolerant, not just tolerant and resistant, but also a kind of transparent to any distractions. Transparent to that, that's very important. The reason being, say for example, you have got still water, okay? Suppose you throw a stone. The stone will traverse, okay? But in the process, it will get bounced a little bit and it also causes ripples. But suppose you have got a cube of glass. You switch on a beam of light from this direction and from this direction. Okay? These beams, do they distract each other? Though they intersect at one point, this beam will still go through in its own direction. This beam will go in its own direction. And what happens to the glass cube? It just still stays the same. Yet, it is transmitting the two conflicting beams of light through it without itself getting disturbed. That is the state you need to get. To get there, once again, so many techniques. Panchopachara puja, Shodashopachara puja, Chaturshashtyopachara puja, okay, Homam, Tarpanam. So each one of these is a technique, is a technology. Because particularly we in tantric parlance, we like to use the word technology. What is a technology? What is technology? What is technology? Technology is a tool. To some extent it is correct. Yes, there is something more to it. Technology is essentially, it is a combination of one or more tools and one or more processes or procedures, okay, with a underlying scientific principle, so that in toto it gets some benefit to a common man. That is technology. For example, the most simplest example I'm not tired of using the example is light travels in a straight line. That is science. I'm a common man. I don't care how light travels. But what I want privacy. Now, what has privacy got to do with light traveling in a straight line? Who is into engineering here? You're an engineer? Huh? He's an engineer. He comes out with a technology. The technology called door. What is a door? Door is a square or rectangular piece of structure that swivels about an axis, right? Swivels about an axis. So, he comes with the technology. So, he says, there is an axis. I have fixed this thing. I just swivel it. When I swivel it to a particular point, the light, since it travels in a straight line, it obstructs the light. So, the person on the other side does not see what the person on this side is doing. Right? Okay? So, the technology is door. Scientific principle is light traveling in the straight line. The benefit realized by the common man is privacy. Okay? In the same way, when it comes to puja vidhanams, the seers, as they call, the ancient rishis, they have understood, okay, this human being is essentially a front-end, multi-layered complex built around nothingness. That's why if you, Ramana Maharshi, he says, who are you? What is your mind? What exactly is this mind? And he says, if you contemplate deeply enough, at one point you will realize that there is no mind. There is nothing there. But around that nothingness, layer by layer by layer, it just comes, and then suddenly nothingness becomes space, space and time, time and space put together, then there is some energy coming in, then that energy becomes mass, and then that mass, inside that mass, that so-called I, aham, is impregnated, and suddenly you see a person called me. So for these layers to unwrap themselves, they said, okay, let us do it this way. If you do it like this, a common man, he cannot just sit tight in this thing and contemplate into himself and disappear. He cannot do that. For that, you follow this physical process. Slowly it will lead you into metaphysical process, from where it will lead you into the process of so-called realizing the nothingness. That's the idea. Okay? So many processes are there. And that's why they say, okay, what has the, so I'll go and pour water on that stone. How is it going to matter? People ask, it's a very valid question. But there are certain scientific principles behind it, which, in effect, probably if you pour it once, it may not happen. Probably you have to keep on pouring water on this one, chanting something, making some particular systematic congregation of sounds, and at one point, the spark ignites. That is the objective. Okay? Be it Abhishekam. Now what, and or be it Homam, or be it Puja. Now, in this class, we will limit the scope of this class to a very, very, in fact, at this point itself, I want to add this qualifier. Though we say it is puja for the beginners, it's actually not puja for the beginners. It is puja in a nutshell. Puja in a nutshell. Why it is called puja in a nutshell, we'll discuss it towards the end. Not now. Okay? This puja vidhanam, this methodology that we are going to discuss now, it is called Pancha Upachara Puja. The puja that involves, Pancha means 5. In Hindi, Panch. Panch, Pancha is all the same. Penta in Latin, right? So, Pancha Upachara. Upachara means services. Okay? Pancha Upachara Puja. A puja, the method of worshipping, the method of realizing one in unison with the one without. The method of realizing the unison of one within and one without. Okay? That method, which has 5 services, is called the Panchopachara Puja. And that's what we are going to discuss today. And in mathematics, you will have known ax plus by equal to c. It is called an identity, right? Or 2x plus 3y is equal to, say, 7 or 8. It's an identity. So you, or in fact, if you put in as all variables, ax plus by equal to c. So you keep on changing the values of x and y, a and b, so you will get some c. Okay? The same thing happens in the case of Panchopachara Puja. So you can do Panchopachara Puja for Ganapati, you can do Panchopachara Puja for Guru, Panchopachara Puja for Lakshmi, or Saraswati, whoever. 5 services. With that 5 steps, the puja is done. The reason we say this puja is for the beginners is, in our today's way of life, this is the age of drive-through pujas, right? So you will just come to the temple, probably you will buy the ticket there. By the time you take your car and come this side, you will get the prasadam here. That's the kind of life we are leading. So with that said, we may not have a whole lot of time to do a comprehensive puja, this one. Okay? Puja methodology, Shodashopachara Puja, with all the Abhishekam and then Panchasuktams. We did the puja today. That took about 3 hours. We do not have 3 hours every day to do this puja. As the Panchopachara Puja, it takes about 5 minutes if you are lazy. 2 minutes if you are hyperactive. Okay? That's all. Simple. Keep things simple. Start it simple. Okay? Which is that? Seen the movie Patriot? Mel Gibson. Must have seen it. No? Too bad. Supposed to watch. That's a great movie. Okay, there is actually the time when there is who is this? Before the independence, before the US got its independence. Okay, they keep fighting. There's so many bloody wars that happen during that time. Anyway, apart from that story, this guy, Mel Gibson, he tells his kids, okay, he'll give, little kids, he'll give each one of them a gun and tells them, okay, shoot those enemies, whatever. And he says, look, aim at a small guy and hit him. And he says, if you aim small, you will miss small. If you aim big, you will miss big. So don't do that. I'm not trying to preach bloodshed here. What I'm trying to say is the small puja when you are doing, if initial stages, even if you are slightly flustered or fluttered or distracted, you're only not missing much. Otherwise, you big षोडशोपचार puja, in the middle you can't leave, you can't go away, you can't sit there. That's too much of confusion. That's why Panchopachara puja, puja in a nutshell, puja for the beginners. Just do that as quickly as you can. Towards the end, whatever prasadam you have, naivedyam you have offered, consume that as your breakfast. Boom, you are ready to go to work or go to school, whatever. That's the idea behind it. So the 5 upacharas is, that is 5 services we offer. It would be Gandham, Pushpam, Dhupam, Deepam, Naivedyam. Gandham, Pushpam, Dhupam, Deepam, Naivedyam. 5 services. After the whole thing is over, okay, whatever I have left away, everything else, take it. But this actually, the 5 upacharas is only this much. The 6th one is a kind of an addendum. But 6th one has got an immense significant value of significance. Very, very significant. But then still it is considered as an addendum for this 5. The main 5 upacharas in the Panchopachara puja is Gandham, Pushpam, Dhupam, Deepam, Naivedyam. Naivedyam. Okay? Now, up till this point, any questions? Fairly clear enough. Right? Okay. The 5 steps or the 5 procedures are again mapped. I am using the word mapped. Okay? Or denoted by 5 bijaksharas. Lam, Ham, Yam, Ram, Vam. The addendum is Sam. Okay? Lam, Ham, Yam, Ram, Vam, Sam. Okay? In fact, some, if you are extremely busy, Lam, Ham, Yam, Ram, Vam, Sam, Mitilam, Ityadi, Panchopachar, Pujan, Manasa, Parikalpaya, Minamaha. Over. It is even going beyond being hyperactive. Okay? Yeah? Lam, Ham, Yam, Ram, Vam, Sam. Okay? Yes. Lam. Not M. Yam. There is a Y there, not EM. It is YAM. Yeah, do you have? Okay. Lam. It's very important. It's not M. M means it is totally different meaning. Yam. 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 Okay? It's a consonant, not a vowel. Okay? Lam, Ham, Yam, Ram, Vam, Sam. And then each the consonant or each sound is again extended into the actual procedure. Lam, Gandham samarpayami. In Sanskrit, samarpayami means it is offered. May I offer. Samarpayami means Lam, Gandham samarpayami. Ham, Pushpam samarpayami. Yam, Dhupam samarpayami. If you are more comfortable with variety, Yam, Dhupam agrapayami, we can say that. Still the same. But if for the sake of uniformity, once again, since we want it to be at the grassroots level, Yam, Dhupam samarpayami, Ram, Deepam samarpayami, or Deepam darishayami, Vam, Amrutamaha naivedyam nivedayami, or Vam, Amrita naivedyam samarpayami. Okay? So we have added one extra phrase for each of these sounds. Then we can go further. Lam. Okay. Now what we will do is, this portion from, now I will discuss it towards the later half of the class. Now what we will do is, we will see how we can use this, just these basic sounds, how we are going to physically perform the puja. Okay? For doing the puja, we will have to first prepare ourselves. It is called Purvangam. Purva Angam. Okay? The earlier part. Angam means limb or part. So the earlier part, that is called what we call normally a preface. Preface for the puja. What we will do, we will sit. First we will have to sit comfortably. Okay? Sukhasanam. You can just can't sit like that, okay, or sit in the chair. That doesn't help. You have to sit, preferably with the crossed legs. Okay? Sit straight with the spine. The spine should be straight. That's very important. The spine has to be straight. If you want to have a backrest, you may have it. But if you want to sit like this, sometimes, the IT people sit in this thing, that doesn't help. Okay? You'll have to sit straight. And when you sit there, Bhuma Devyai Namaha, you'll have to first offer your respects to the Mother Earth where you are sitting. Bhuma Devyai Namaha. Then, after that, the technique that is used in Indian or Hindu methodology of worship is, you pick up each object, call it God. Because you are supposed to see God in everything that you are using, or everything that you are seeing, or everything that is involved, including yourself. So what you do, you will so Bhuma Devyai Namaha, you have seen God in Mother Earth. Then after that, Ghanta Devyai Namaha, the bell. Okay? So there are lengthy sentences, Agamattantu Devanam Nirgamattantu Rakshasam Kurughantaram. All that is there. But if you are not familiar with it, Ghanta Devyai Namaha, and where do you focus at that time? When you sound, which part of the sound? The bell sound, after the gong hits the bell, or whatever this is called, okay? The gong, this gong will hit it. When after it hits, tang, that last portion, it is that part of the sound you have to focus on. That's the one that draws you into yourself. Not the first part. First part, tongue, no. Tongue. That last part. Ghantadi. Then, after that, you will light the lamp. So when you light the lamp, Deepa Devyai Namaha, Deepa Lakshmiyai Namaha. Okay? Then after that, you will take this. Pardon me? Pardon me? The last part of it is the one that draws you in your senses will be pulled inwards when you are focusing on that part. Basically, that is the phase where the sound, it is a silencing mode. The first one is, it involves a lot of force and disturbance. After that, the disturbance slowly, it just becomes more and more and more and more silent. It will not become silent immediately. As a matter of fact, it will become totally silent at the infinite distance. Because if you look at it, it's a kind of a logarithmic curve where the absolute zero, it is not reached within the finite distance. So, when you concentrate, it's something like this. Okay, you are sitting in a train opposite to a particular person who is making noise. You want to slap him on the face. First second, you will travel half the distance between him and you. Next second, you will travel another half the distance between him and you. Now, At what time? Theoretically, for you to reach him to slap, you will never reach him because each time you are only traveling half the distance. But you will reach him for all practical purposes. That's how it is said. So, theoretically, that never becomes zero. But for all practical purposes, it becomes zero. So, when you focus, that's what happens to you. Okay? So, you will have to focus on the later part of the sound, not the earlier part of the sound. Okay? Then, after Ghanta, it is Deep. And remember, each of these, it denotes or it relates to one particular type of sense you have. Solid state, sense of touch, right? And then, this is sound, auditory function. And this one is the visual function, right? So each of these, they denote one particular type of sense the human body uses to perceive, to understand, to perceive. So all these senses, we start deifying these things. Then after that, the very life itself, life originates out of water, right? That's how it is. That's why if the thing is as dry as they say, bone dry, life cannot exist in that, right? Or even if it does, it exists in a form which cannot propagate. So for example, your seeds, it is practically dry. The life is there. Put it into water, with the help of water, it can propagate again beyond that. But otherwise, it will stay that way perpetually. Okay? So, the next thing is, we are going to deify the water. This is called Panchapatra. Okay? And there we use one more vessel called Achamanapatra. Okay? Let me go back one step. Okay? When you do the Bhuma Devyai Namaha, at that point, you are actually supposed to sip water out of a copper vessel. The cuprous ions that diffuse into the water is supposed to clear the Sushumna Patham, the central neutral nerve or the energy channel that traverses along your spinal column. That is called Sushumna. There are 3 channels there. One is the central neutral channel. Then on the left side, it is the lunar channel or the cool channel. And on the other side, right side, it is called the solar channel or the hot channel. In Sanskrit, you will say Sushumna, okay, Ida, Pingala. And if you try to, excuse me, I think I ate a little too much. Just keep burping. Okay? If you try to raise your energy through the solar channel, okay, it produces so much heat, the person can get burnt, practically burnt. There are people, in fact, yesterday a friend of mine had come, that Sham and Sharada, their friend in Bombay, these guys, he just thinks suddenly, he just kicks through the thing. Here it opened up, smoke. It was smoke practical, and they were taken to the hospital. The guy kicked the bucket before he could get any medical thing. Okay? If you get a chance, read the book Kundalini by Pandit Gopi Krishna. He is not very good at presenting the ideas. Some archaic. Yes, you have a question? Okay. He doesn't have a very sophisticated way of presenting his ideas, but he gives you very, very profound insight into what these forces are, what happens when they go. And for him, it rises through the solar channel. And he goes through untold amount of pain and suffering. Okay? The other one, lunar channel, the cool channel, you will freeze. Okay? But it's a little safer than the solar channel. And the central path is Sushumna is the safest way, because when it goes through the Sushumna Nadi, yes, you do feel both senses of coolness and heat. If you just place the palms, even empty palms, and focus, you will feel a gentle breeze as if some cool liquid staying in your palms. Though there is nothing in it, you will feel that. At the same time, the body sometimes becomes so hot, the person next to you will ask, he used to ask me, do you have a fever? And then, yes, I myself will feel so hot. But then if I measure temperature, it shows 98.4. You get that. You will get those experiences. But it is safe. It can just go up and come down, go up and come down. With that said, the Achmana Patram, when you take water out of this, okay, that path, the Sushumna path, it is going to clear up so that the energy can go up and down in a much more congenial fashion. So after you do Bhuma Devi Namah, Keshavaya Swaha, Narayana Swaha, Madhava Swaha, Govinda Namaha, that is called Achamanam. So in fact, after doing the Achamanam, then you will do the so-called preface, Purvanga. Or Achamanam is considered to be the first step in your Purvanga. Okay? The copper bowl, take it. Yes. Keshavaya Swaha, Narayana Swaha, Madhava Swaha, Govinda Namaha. Okay? Then after that, yeah, next this one. Yeah, thank you. Guru Paduka. Guru Paduka, this is more common to the Sri Vidya tradition. Okay? Guru Paduka. So Guru will give you, initiate you into a mantra. Hamsa Shivasoham Hamsaha Hasakafrem Hasakshamalavarayum Saumsa Kshamalavarayim Saho. It is actually called a combination of Ananda Bhairava and Ananda Bhairavi mantras. But you won't get into that unless your Guru initiates you into that. Otherwise, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. And I think in one of the, Chinmaya Sakit, that mentions this one, they were, of course, this is on the lighter side. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. They just composed a song kind of thing there, which is fine. But basically at that point you are going to think of your Guru, the teacher who initiated you into a particular path. Okay? Then after that comes Bhumi Puja. Sorry, probably I may have mixed some of the steps. After that the Bhumi Puja comes. Bhuma Devyai Namaha. Okay? Then, iti ghanta nadam krutvar ghanta devyai namaha. There are so many things, versions of it. You can say, He ghante susvare pithe ghanta dhvani vibhushide vadayanti paranande ghanta devim prapujaye. No, let us not go that route. That becomes, it's not in a nutshell anymore. We are talking about puja in a nutshell. Okay? So, Ghanta Nadam Krutva, you will ring the bell, Ghanta Devyai Namaha, over. And focus on that sound. Then after that, light the lamp, Deepa Devyai Namaha. Okay? You can, if you want to add, Deepa Devyai Namaha, Deepa Lakshmi Namaha. If you want to add one more step, Deepa Devyai Namaha. This is called a mudra. Deepa Mudra. Deepa Devyai Namaha. Yes, the ring finger and the thumb will get together. Other fingers should remain straight. Yes, as straight as possible. Okay? Deepa Devyai Namaha. So, until that point, every step you have deified. You have turned it into God. Now you have to turn this one into God. Why do you turn this one into God? Basically, you imagine that your entire body is this. So, Kalasasya Mukhe Vishnuhu. The Kalasham, the face portion, Vishnu resides. Kanthe, and the neck portion, Rudra. Kanthe Rudra Samashtritaha. Mule Tattvasthito Brahma. At the corner, Brahma. Madhye Matrugana Smrutaha. All the motherly entities in the center. So you basically imagine your body to be this collection. So that's, yes. But, no. Mukhe Vishnu, on the face, this Vishnu, neck, Rudra, the corner or the base, Brahma. Okay? Matrugana Smrutaha. But we don't want to put in that entire mantra. We will just say am, im, rum, lum, lum, em, aim, om, aum, aham. They are called Kanthamoola Swaras. That is the sounds that are produced from the base of your throat. And they are also known as they are the Matraganas. They are also in the Aksharamala parlance, they are called the Pranas. They are the lives. Consonants are known as Pranis, the living things. The living things will sustain with the aid of life. So these form the life. Actually, when you look at it, you will have to look at your, imagine this one, or imagine your throat with the sounds moving in the anti-clockwise direction. Im, rum, lum, lum, em, aim, om, aum, aham. Okay? Then, Kalasa Devatabhyo Namaha. Okay? So, until this point, all the senses or entities outside of you, and with the Kalasham, the entities inside of you are deified or imagined to be divine. Okay? Or they are certified divine by yourself. Okay? Then, once you do that, this forms a preface. Once this preface, what do you mean 5? Well, I'll come there. That should be a later part of the class. Huh? What are mudras? What are mudras? How about, I'll postpone it. Yeah, I can answer that, but we'll postpone it. Otherwise, towards the end of the class, we will not even have done the actual puja. Let them get familiarized with that. And then, okay. So, after you do the preface, the puja, this one starts. And the puja process, as I said, lam, ham, yam, ram, vam, sam. This is the basic equation. You add the variable to do puja for a particular deity. Okay? First puja that is ever done is always for Ganapati. Okay? Ganapati is the one who is supposed to represent the solid state of physical existence. And solid state is the one that gives you the foundation. Okay? Because of that, you will have to worship him first. There is one more explanation to it. The solid state actually contains or embeds in itself all the other states. The way it is, the space, only one state. From space to air. Air contains both the state of gas as well as the state of space. From gas to fire, which we call plasma. The fire contains gaseous state and the state of space. And then water. Water contains all these three. And then its own self. And then solid, it contains all the 4 states plus itself. That's why you would worship Ganapati first. Okay? How do we do it? First you will have to invoke him. You will take the flower with your thumb, middle finger and ring. You can take a flower. Take a flower. Take a flower. And you will hold the flower with your thumb, middle finger and ring finger. Okay? And this one, you hold it towards your heart. Why towards your heart? Why not in your ear? Why not on this one? Why heart? These are the places, where there are energy vortices. Okay? Anahatam, Manipuram, Vishuddhi, Agna. Here, you can put it here, but that becomes too intense. Okay? Put in here. In fact, if you are deep enough into the process of this meditation and all that, if you take your pendant, a necklace or something, you just, without any disturbance, with a silent mind, you suspend it in front of that heart, it will start rotating. It will rotate on its own. You don't have to shake it. You just hold it as gently as possible so that your body vibrations will not disturb it, and the pendant will start rotating. So it is that energy you will capture. Okay? So you hold it and you would say, Ganapataye Namaha. You can say Gam Ganapataye Namaha, but still, I will even shorten it for you. Ganapataye Namaha or Mahaganadipataye Namaha. Okay? And then offer that to the deity sitting in front, that is the Ganapati sitting in front of you. That is Ganapati, you can have a Murti. If you don't have Ganapati Murti, what do? Huh? Huh? If you don't have turmeric. Because turmeric you take, it's a messy thing, right? Take a betel nut, a whole betel nut, that is Ganapati. That is Ganapati. If you are artistic enough, you can take a betel nut. In fact, a friend of mine had given me this thing. Betel nut, carve Ganapati out of it. You can do that. Because it's very hard. It's something like wood, as hard as that. Carve Ganapati. If nothing, just put that betel nut, that is Ganapati. Gam Ganapataye Namaha. You place the flower at the base of that nut, or on the top, because nut is only this small, this size. Okay? Then, after that, Lam. Offer the flower to Ganapati Murti in front. Next, this one. I'm sorry. Oh, no, you would want to put it there? No? It's okay. Is it? Ah. Okay. So, then, Lam Prithvi Tattvatmane or Lam Gandham Samarpayami. Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Gandham. Okay. Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Lam Prithvi Tattvatmane Gandham Samarpayami. That Prithvi Tattvatmane, you want to use it, you can use it. You don't want to use it, don't use it. Okay? Lam Gandham Samarpayami is fair enough. No, Gandham. Now, once you have done you now have the tools ready. Okay? Gandham. So, Lam Gandham Samarpayami. Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Ham Pushpam Samarpayami. If you don't have Pushpam, what do? Akshatas. What is Akshata? Which rice? Jasmine rice? Sona Masuri? Basmati? Huh? No, yeah, but or is it parboiled rice? Sona Masuri or Jirige Masuri? The rice Akshata, the word Akshata means the one that is not hit. That means the one that is not broken. The rice grain should be integral. It should not have any crack in it. For that, typically, we recommend using basmati. Because basmati, it won't crack so easily. As I have seen, the rice grain should be so integral in its this one. It doesn't break as easily as the rest. Okay, take that, add a little ghee and turmeric and mix it. That becomes akshatas. If you don't have flowers. If you don't have flowers. Okay? That's why Pushpam Akshatan Samarpayami. Okay? So what did we do? Lam Prithivyatmane Gandham Samarpayami. Ham Akashatmane Akshatan Samarpayami or Pushpam Samarpayami. Next. Sorry, next. Yam Vayuratmane Dhupamagrapayami or Dhupam Samarpayami. Dhupam means it could be incense sticks, or you can take that piece of that incense and light it and as comfortable as you feel comfortable. But this one, it is more easily disposable and more easily lightable. Okay? And causes much less smoke alarms at home. Okay? So, yam vayuratmane dhupamagrapayami or dhupam darishayami or dhupam samarpayami. Okay? And each time when you offer these, you keep on ringing the bell. Okay? Dhupamagrapayami. Next one, yeah? Deepam. Okay? Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Ram. Ram, the letter Ram, is known as the Ushma Bijam. Ushma, you don't have to write it down, just good to know kind of information. Okay? Ushma, what is Ushmam? The one that causes heat. Okay? That's why Rama, the word Rama, the reason the word Rama became such a big mantra and enlightened Valmiki. Valmiki earlier, he was a jungli. He was not even a highway robber, he was a low-way robber probably, if there is a word like that. He was in the forest, he was just robbing people who had come that way, and he used to live like that. And that guy, he was initiated into Rama, he could not pronounce. So he was given the Vilomam of Rama, Mara. That's all the more powerful. You did the Vilomam, and then, okay, you chant, keep saying this, you will get the enlightenment, says Narada. So he will say Mara, 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 and then that Rakaram, is the one that burns everything in its sight. That's what happened to him. It burns everything, and Makaram has got the Amritam. So it burns the Karanadeham and other these things, and then Makaram infuses the Amritam. Burn and then come back to life. Burn, come back to life. Burn, come back to life. 1 million, probably 1 billion times over, because he was sat in trance for so many years, chanting just that, nothing else. So much so, ant hills were formed around his body. The ants started building their abode, their houses around him, and that ant hill in Sanskrit is called Valmikamu. Valmika means ant hill. Since he emerged out of the ant hill, he came to be known as Valmiki. Okay? So that Rakaram is the Ushma Bijam. It burns. Okay? It not just burns means not burning sensation. It just, what do you call? It destroys something to the, it raises things to the ground, kind of. So, Ram Agnidatvatmane Deepam Darishayami or Deepam Samarpayami, Deepam Darishayami. So, Deepam. Then after that, the next one is Vam. Vakaram is also, it is Amrita Bijam. Okay? So, Vakaram, Vam Amritatatvatmane Naivedyam Samarpayami or Amrita Maha Naivedyam Samarpayami. Just, you can say Naivedyam Samarpayami, even that is also fine. Okay? Oh, somebody else, okay. So, Vam Amritatatvatmane Amrita Maha Naivedyam Nivedayami. But you will see, for each service, we will add one variable. What is that variable? In this case, it's Ganapati. So, Ganapataye Namaha Vam Amritatatvatmane Amrita Maha Naivedyam Nivedayami. Ram. For Ram, what did we do? Ganapataye Namaha. Ram Agnidatvatmane Deepam Darishayami. Vam Amritatatvatmane. Before that, Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Vam Amritatatvatmane Amrita Maha Naivedyam Nivedayami. Now, we have completed all the 5 services. Now, we will offer an addendum called Sam Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Sam Sarvatattvatmane Sarvopacharan Samarpayami. All things put together, I am offering it as a combo package, that is Nirajan. At that point, we will do the Karpura Nirajanam, ringing the bell. Up till this point, any question? So, Lam पृथ्वी तत्त्वात्मने गंधम परिकल्पयामि गम गणपतये नमः हम आकाशात्मने पुष्पं समर्पयामि यम गम गणपतये नमः यम वायुतत्त्वात्मने धूपमाघ्रापयामि रम तेजस्तत्त्वात्मने और अग्नितत्त्वात्मने दीपं दर्शयामि वम अमृततत्त्वात्मने अमृतमहानैवेद्यं निवेदयामि सम सर्वतत्त्वात्मने सर्वोपचारान् समर्पयामि. Puja is done for Ganapati. Then after that, you can go, do we have Guru extensive or puja to Guru? Yes. Now that Ganapati is done, next for Guru. Take the flower again, you will put it to your heart with your thumb, middle finger and ring finger. Pick it up. It's very important to know how you hold it. Yes. Okay? Hold it to your heart. And use your right hand, not left hand. Okay? Hold it. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwarah, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. This is a common shloka everybody knows. You can chant that, or you can say, Gum Gurubhyo Namaha. If you really do not know the shloka, but you should be able to learn that shloka, no big deal. Okay? And then offer the flower to the Guru's feet. Or right in front of Ganapati itself, you can put it there. You don't have to have multiple murtis and all that. It doesn't hurt if you have, doesn't hurt if you don't have either. Okay? Put it in there. Then you will repeat the same equation with different variables. Okay? Gum Gurubhyo Namaha Lam Prithvi Tattvatmane Gandham Gandham Samarpayami Gum Gurubhyo Namaha Ham Akashatmane Pushpam Samarpayami. Right? Yam Gum Gurubhyo Namaha Yam Vayu Tattvatmane Dhupamagrapayami Gum Gurubhyo Namaha. Remember, it is Gum, not gum. We are used to chewing gum, right? G-U-M. But here it is Gum. Remember that. Okay, otherwise chewing gum, samarpayami. No, it is Gum. It is Gum. Okay? Yeah. Because we have, there's a joke. Ram, not Ram. 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 That is same Ram. Tattvatmane, Agni Tattvatmane. That's why if it is too complex, you can remove that. Ram, Deepam Darshayami. Okay? See, G-H-O-T-I. G-H-O-T-I. How do you pronounce it? G-H-O-T-I. G-H-O-T-I. Goti? George Bernard Shaw said, this is the spelling of fish. R-O-U-G-H, rough. So G-H is pronounced as W-O-M-E-N, women. O is pronounced as E. S-T-A-T-A-O-N, station. T-I is pronounced as ish. G-H-O-T-I, fish. So the reason I quote this joke is, that is Gum and not gum. Because English has got the beautiful disadvantage of, pulling the pronunciation this way or that way. But here, this is not English, this is Sanskrit. That is Gum Gurubhyo Namah. Okay? The same disadvantages we saw. Is it Ram or Ram? It is Ram. Because in English we write it that way, right? Ram Agni Tattvatmane Deepam Darshayami. Okay, next. Gum Gurubhyo Namaha Vam Amrita Tattvatmane Amrita Mahanaivedyam Nivedayami. Okay? Then Sam Gum Gurubhyo Namaha Sam Sarvatattvatmane sarvopachara pujan samarpayami. Next one, yeah. Yeah. Sam sarvatattvatmane sarvopachara pujan or sarvopacharan samarpayami. When we say sarvopacharan, we will do the nirajanam, karpura nirajanam. That's all. Yes. Camphor? Yeah. Yeah, you light it. Yeah, you'll have to light it. Yes, you have to light the camphor. Which one? Yeah, Thing is, what happens is if we use incense stick, what you do, hold on to it. This is how you put it. The reason we use this is we don't want this to get tarnished. Okay, you will put this. Plus, apart from that, if you light it in this one, it conducts heat fast. Your hand becomes, it scorches your hand. Therefore, you put this in. That's why this becomes too comprehensive or too much of a burden. You would use incense sticks. It just burns out and dispose it off. Okay, incense sticks at home is more comfortable than this. Okay. At least, if you are at least as lazy as I am, incense sticks are the more comfortable choice at home. Okay? Incense sticks. Agarabattulu. One is enough. At least one should be there. Okay? There is no significance to number there. It is reusable. Any questions? Okay. With that, Guru Puja is complete. So basically, we have Ganapati Puja, Guru Puja, and Pradhana Puja. Pradhana Devata, Puja for Pradhana Devata. Pradhana Devata can be anybody. It could be Lalita, it could be Lakshmi, it could be Saraswati, Shiva, Vishnu, you name, Hanuman, whoever. Anybody you can just. Okay? Here we choose Lalita as the Pradhana Devata. Excuse me, Amma. Could you hold down? Thank you so much. Okay? So, here, for Lalita, what do you say? Gum Gurubhyo Namah, Gam Ganapatiye Namah. There is no Bijatshas. There is no need for Bijatshas at that point. You will say, Shri Matre Namaha, Shri Matre Namaha, Shri Matre Namaha. Okay? Mother, accept my namaskaram. 3 times. But of course, you will hold the flower to your heart. Okay? You will hold the flower to your heart and say, Shri Matre Namaha, Shri Matre Namaha, Shri Matre Namaha. Or another sloka of your choice. You know the Lalita slokam, Arunam Karuna Tarangitakshim. You can chant that. Or Shivasyaktya Yukto Yadi Bhavati Jaktah Prabhavitum Nachet Saundarya Lahari. You can chant that. Or a simple thing, Shri Matre Namaha. And then offer. So once you do that, Aim Hrim Shrim Shri Matre Namaha, or Aim Hrim Shrim Lalitayai Namaha, Aim Hrim Shrim Lalita Maha Tripura Sundaryai Namaha. So all these people, all these names, Avahayami. Okay? Aim Hrim Shrim Shri Matre Avahayami. Aim Hrim Shrim Shri Lalita Maha Tripura Sundarim Avahayami. Instead of that, just Shri Matre Namaha, Shri Matre Namaha, Shri Matre Namaha, Lalita Maha Tripura Sundarim Avahayami. Over. Okay? Next. Yeah. Same thing. Aim Hrim Shrim Shri Matre Namaha. Lam Gandham Samarpayami. Aim Hrim Shrim Shri Matre Namaha. Lam Gandham Samarpayami. Okay? No. The moving the hand around comes only for Dhupam and Deepam. Okay? This one. Aim Hrim Shrim Shri Matre Namaha. Ham Pushpam Samarpayami. Okay? Aim Hrim, next one. Aim Hrim Shrim Shri Matre Namaha. Yam Dhupamagrapayami. And Dhupam, Deepam, Nirajanam. When you do that, you will be ringing the bell along with it. Okay? But let us do one thing. We will go back to beginning of Lalita. Okay. Yes. Okay. So what we do? Om Aim Hrim Shrim Shri Matre Namah. First one, Shri Matre Namah, Shri Matre Namah, Shri Matre Namah, Shri Lalita Mahatripura Sundarim Avahayami. Then after that, Aim Hrim Shrim Shri Matre Namah, Gandham Samarpayami. Okay, you'll offer Gandham. Aim Hrim Shrim Shri Matre Namah, Pushpam Samarpayami. Sorry, I'm Ham Akashatmane Pushpam Samarpayami, or Aim Hrim Shrim Shri Matre Namah, Ham Pushpam Samarpayami. Then after that, any question? Yeah. Next, from that point, Aim Hrim Shrim Shri Matre Namah, Yam Dhupamagrapayami. Okay. Next one, Aim Hrim Shrim Shri Matre Namah, Ram Deepam Darishayami. Next, Aim Hrim Shrim. This point you don't have to ring the bell, but some traditions they accept ringing the bell. Okay. Vam Aim Hrim Shrim Shri Matre Namah, Vam Amrita Mahanaivedyam Nivedayami. Okay. Next, Aim Hrim Shrim Shri Matre Namaha, Sam Sarvatattvatmane Sarvopacharan Samarpayami. With that, the puja I will complete. This is the methodology. This is the methodology. Basically, it is Avahanam. You do, hey God, come here. Once the God has come, hey guy, here is my Gandham. Here is the Pushpam. Okay. Inhale some incense. Then, okay, look at the lamp. Then, eat something you have come from that far. Then, bless us with the grace. Here is all the sharams. That completes. For that one, Lam, Hum, Yam, Ram, Vam, Sam. Okay, any questions? Pardon? No, well, offering Naivedyam, you don't have to hold it in your hand. You will place the Naivedyam bowl or Naivedyam plate in front of the deity and then offer it. How do you offer? Yes, okay. When it comes to that, there is one more step by which I did not elaborate. I didn't want to. There, you can say Pranaya Swaha, Apanaya Swaha, Dhyanaya Swaha, Udanaya Swaha, Samanaya Swaha, Brahmane Swaha. This is how it should be done. Okay? And that intentionally I just held it back. This is called Grasa Mudras. Okay? Grasa means food. When you denote these mudras, the object to which you denote that becomes something edible, something consumable. Okay? Pranaya Swaha, Apanaya Swaha. Look at the hands. Pranaya Swaha. No, the last two. Pranaya Swaha, Apanaya Swaha. First two. Dhyanaya Swaha. Middle two. Then Udanaya Swaha. Add the top finger. Then add the bottom finger too. Samanaya Swaha. If you don't want to chant all this, you don't have to say anything. Mudras, posture, that itself will take care of the corresponding, meaning of it, so to say. In fact, when you do that, the way the energy flows through your body, when you join these three fingers, you will emanate one particular type of energy. You will join these three, you will emanate a different type of energy. Like that, when you repeat for all these 5 configurations, the whole thing makes the S1 into something that is edible, fit for consumption. That's the idea there. Okay? But if you think that is complicated, it is say Amrita Mahanaivedyam Nivedayami, over. You don't have to do anything. Prana, Grasa Mudras. Grasa, not grass. Grasa. Grasam means food. something that can be consumed. Mahagrasa, Mahashana, Mahasana, Mahagrasa. She is the one who is capable of consuming a lot of food, because the whole universe she is going to take in. That's why Lalita Mahatripura, she is also known as Mahagrasa. Mahashana. In fact, grasa means food. Mahashana. One who consumes that food is Mahashana, not Mahasana. Mahasana means one who has a great throne, the seat. Okay? Great position. Mahasana. Mahashana means one who consumes a huge lot of food. Yes, you're asking something. No, you sprinkle the water, and after that, without touching the food, you will do it. You will point it to the food. Prana, apana, jnana, udana, samana. Okay? Yeah. Any questions up till this point? It is best if you sit and do, because that's why I said sukhasanam, a comfortable posture you have to sit. But if you want to do it standing, you can do it standing, but Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Gam Gurubhyo Namaha, that's not good. You have to stay still. Sitting will make you more still than standing. Okay? That's all. Any further questions? Anybody online here? No questions yet. Okay. Now, we'll go to the... Now, any questions regarding the procedures? No questions. Because now we will go into slightly into the back end part of this one. Okay? Yeah, we have that Biya, Lam, Ham, Ram, Vam, the pictures or something. Yeah. Oh, okay. So if I ask somebody, I will give a Bijaksharam, you should be able to say what Upacharam it should be. Can you? Ram. What is it for? Ram. Deep. Okay. Hum. You can see it, you don't have to just remember. If you don't, the manual, you can print it afterwards. Okay. It should be available online. And Vam. I am hearing only from one source. Huh? Some. Everything, but what do you do at that point? Niraj. Okay. And Lam. Lam. Gandha. And that's the first Upachara, right? Okay. Once again, any further questions on this? The pictures, Lam, the slide kind of, yes. No, not that one. That Lam Mooladharam and then okay. Okay. Now, some wise people, they will ask, why like this? Why Lam? I'll say Sham. I'll say boom. Why Lam? Why Hum? What exactly are these? Why those sounds? Esoteric sounds. This is where the definition of this puja moves away from puja for the beginners to puja in a nutshell. Because it has got, these sounds have got immense tantric significance, immense technological significance. Okay? See, what happens is, here do we have a stick kind of? That will help if it is there. If it's not there, that's no big deal. Okay? Even the demigods, if they have to obtain moksha, they have to come down to earth, do their upasana, and then only they can go up. This concept is very, very clearly described in this puja in a nutshell. Hereafter I will say puja in a nutshell, not puja for beginners. Sure. Thank you, Ayya. Okay? So what did we do? Lam prithvi tattvat mane gandham parikalpayami or gandham samarpayami. Lam denotes the solid principle, which is actually our mooladharam, the base of the spine. Okay, now I am going to add one more complexity to your puja process. Whenever you chant that particular bijaksharam, you should focus on that part of your body. Okay? Lam prithvi tattvat mane, that is base of your spine. You have to focus on the base of your spine, mooladharam, and the color actually is red. You have to focus on that color. Lam prithvi tattvat mane gandham parikalpayami. Next, immediately what happens? From lam, they will catapult. They will catapult from the base of your spine to the excuse me, to the throat. 1 second, yeah? Now let me just have some. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. That's today it was least spicy. Actually. It was least spicy, but thank you. This helps. Okay. So, then after the lam, from base of the spine, you will catapult your point of focus from base of spine to the base of your throat. Ham akashat mane pushpam parikalpayami. There was something red at the top, somewhere there. From there you will come here. Though it is described in this order, in the body, the order is reversed except for lam. Lam is sitting at the bottom. And then ham sits at the top, the throat. From there, yam. So, what is happening? From the solid state, you come to the state of space. From the space, you will slowly descend from space to air, air to fire, fire to liquid, liquid. From that point, you will catapult right away to the Sam, Agna Chakra. Okay. You got it? Yeah. Could you show me the ram? Okay. Sorry. Yeah, lam. So from lam, could we just shrink the picture size a little bit? I mean, it was earlier little. That's perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Perfect. Yes. Yes. Okay. See here. From here, you will jump to here. From here, you will slowly traverse this way. Vam. From here, you will jump to. But the actual this one is in the reverse order. Lam is at the bottommost. Hum is at the throat. This is the heart, navel, genitals area. And then this would be the in between, the place, Bhrumadhyam, it is between the two eyes. This one. As though we say Om, here we say Sam. You will get this as a part of the documentation. You can take that. Okay? So what we do is, we are imagining a solid principle. From the solid state, you will go into space. From space, you will slowly descend into the state of gas, state of fire, then after that, state of liquid. Okay? That's where is Amrutam, we call it. That from the state of from the liquid state, you will jump into the state of mind. And it is not just mind, it is the state where either if you go downwards, the mind is created. If you go upwards from this point, mind is destroyed. It's a transient phase here. So, Mooladharam, this is called Vishuddhi. Mooladharam, Vishuddhi, Vishuddhi to Anahatam, Anahatam to Manipuram, Manipuram to Swadhishtanam, Swadhishtanam to Agnya. That is the process you actually do. In fact, if you see how Ayya does the Arati, when Ayya does the puja, she'll just think, he just takes it like that. That's what happens there. Okay? From Mooladhara, from a solid principle, you will offer the first this one, Gandham, then immediately you are catapulted to space, Vishuddhi. At Vishuddhi, you will offer Pushpam. From there, you will slowly descend. Gaseous state, Dhupam. Fire state, Deepam. And then liquid state, Naivedyam. Boom. Into Agnya Chakra. That is the significance of each of these chakras, each of these upacharams you perform. In fact, I'll have to find the documentation. Satsangam, Dhupam, Kalpayami, each procedure, it has a particular Indriya Nigraham, Deepam, Sandarshayami. So for each upacharam, you are actually destroying one of the faculties you are entangled with. Because, yesterday I was seeing this. The five senses we see, we have, not we see, the five senses we have, they actually talk about something that is outside, not something that is inside. Though the senses actually are performing inside. It's a very common, it's a kind of a conflicting statement. Okay, but still, I'll give you an example. Do you see me? Do you see me? Yes or no? Yes. Where am I? That's the problem with our senses. No, the reason I say that is, how are you seeing? You have a pair of eyes. It has got cornea, right? Sclerotic, retina. In between there is a lens. Okay? The light rays, the light falling on me is reflected. It falls onto your eyes. It goes through the lens. It just falls on the retina. It is an inverted image. The image goes into your brain. There it is processed. So where exactly is the image? It's inside you. So what you are sensing is the image that has formed inside you and not me here. Your sense, the sense of sense, so to say, your thinking that you have a sense, that makes you think that what is happening inside you is actually sitting outside. But what actually is happening for you is something that is far inside your brains. That is the problem with these senses. Okay? Say, for example, you are able to see me. Can you feel the blood flowing in your body? No. Because the sense is incapable of measuring that any which way. It sees something and deciphers that within itself, but thinks that it is outside. This is an entanglement. So when you do this puja, step by step, pardon me? Yeah, you can. You will. But the problem is, exactly. See that the problem there is, again, you touch, right? You touch. What are you touching? Where are you touching? Your touch sense is happening inside, not outside. When you touch, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's basic. That's why. Thing is, when you go deeper and deeper, and at one point, what you realize is there is no external. Everything is internal. Everything is internal. In fact, when you traverse far enough, it's a beautiful question you asked. You traverse far enough, you will realize that you can touch without having to come this far. You can do that. Pardon? Yes, you will still be touching without you having to come this far. Pardon me? No, it is still happening inside, but you can get the simulation of this one happening outside. That's what would happen. I very, very strongly urge you, because for a person of yours, I strongly urge you to delve deeper into the definitions of Sri Chakram. It will answer your question. That's where you will get the concept of course, it's already there in quantum physics. You will get the concept of discontinuous. What you are talking about is transcending from continuous multitude to discontinuous multitude. That becomes a little out of scope here. But yes, it's a very valid question. It is something like you are here in Rush. Your house is in Pittsford. There is no way for these two places to exist without a road connecting these two. Can there be? That means you are here, you disappear, and you will be in Pittsford in your house. Is it possible? No. If you are leaving, then there is some pipe or some road connecting. There is no road connecting. There's just this point, and either you are here or you are there. That happens when you get to the level of discontinuous multitude, which is also called Kulotirna Sthiti. Kulotirna Yogini. Yeah, if you are continuous, then that means that still you have not transcended to that point. It's still, exactly, it is still happening outside, but what is happening there is your senses will make you think that it is happening. Even now, at this point, my sense will make me think that it is happening outside, whereas it is actually happening within one's own self. Anyway, we'll discuss that in a further detail afterwards. Yeah, and next, that's a very interesting question. Yes, in fact, that is one of the interesting topics I delve upon at every given opportunity. Okay, next, what else? It is the ring finger that you would move around the kalasham anti-clockwise, and the Bijashras are same, am to aha. Am, am, im, om, rum, rum, lum, lum, em, aim, om, aum, am, aham. That's it? Yeah.
Okay, so if the upachara, each one is destroying one of the faculties of entanglement, so is doing touch.
But that exact mapping, I'll have to give it separately. I don't have it readily with me. I don't want to give inaccurate information. Yes. Any further questions? Wow. Pardon? Purvangam. Oh. Okay. I just put that in a nutshell, saying that Sukhasanam. Okay? Before you pray, Sthala Shuddhi, Deha Shuddhi, Mano Shuddhi. These three things you will typically do. Sthala Shuddhi means the area where you do the puja, it should be clean. Clean, what is meant by clean again? It should give you a sense of serenity. That's all. Okay? Now, for cleaning, you can have a beautiful cloth spread with all unnecessary garbage disposed of. That is one thing. Or you just keep on washing, washing and washing. Some people do that. Nothing else. They do that. So many ways you will have to feel serene about your surroundings. Okay? That is Sthala Shuddhi. Then Deha Shuchi, not Deha Shuddhi. Deha Shuddhi means a different meaning. You know what Deha Shuddhi is? Beat one person up. That is called Deha Shuddhi. Okay? Deha Shuchi. Daihika Shuchi. Shuchi means cleanliness. Tidiness. More than cleanliness, I would say tidiness. Because if you say cleanliness, then suddenly, suppose you are traveling somewhere, you don't want to do puja because you are not clean. But if it is enough if you are tidy. That means you wear something that is clean, comb your hair if you can, have some bottu on your face, okay? If possible, have some perfume, have some good, there's nothing wrong. Have some perfume, okay? This thing. And then spray perfume around you. Because these things, this will satisfy one of the senses, Amma, so that it will slowly draw you inside. Okay? Suppose you have the smell of poop around you. No, honestly, you just can't really focus, right? You're making faces and all that. You'll end up doing that. No, that is true, right? So you'll have to have pleasant fragrance around you, pleasant flowers. If you have all, take the papers, shred it into pieces, spread it around you. That will not give you the sense of focus. Okay? Have some beautiful flowers around you. Okay? Have some pictures of your near and dear around you. Nothing wrong. Make the place beautiful enough. That's why today morning, I believe, I saw the word, in Ramayana, Sundara Kanda. Sundara Kanda is the time when Hanuman goes, meets Sita, destroys Lanka, comes back and reports to Rama. This one, if you look at the actual incidents, it is nothing but Sundara. Because that fellow, he destroys the Lanka, sets fire to this one. He sees Sita Devi being heckled by Rama. Sita Devi almost about to commit suicide. And then he comes back and of course he reports happy news. But it is called Sundara Kanda. Why is it called Sundara Kanda? Sundara, the word Sundara means the state of serenity or beauty that gives you happiness. There he says the word Rama is such that even an animal in his presence will feel happy, it says. That kind of Rama Namam happens in so many places, and in at least one place, Hanuman describes the story of Rama. And in the other thing, the Sita Devi thinks of Rama and gives him her Chudamani. So because of all these things, that Kanda, that particular chapter is known as Sundara Kanda. So what you have to do for puja is, you have to spread Saundaryam around you. The Saundaryam, that which gives you the blissful happiness, not the happiness of intoxication, right? If you have just some pop singer, pop dancer with string ties, spandex leather, with a guitar, that will not give you that serenity, that will not give you that bliss. You should calm yourself down. So whatever you have to do to calm yourself down, go have a shower. How do you have a shower? You know how it is, right? First, take a blast of cold water. Then take a blast of hot water. The pores will open up and clean up the sweat pores. Then immediately have a blast of cold water. The pores will close. Your skin becomes tight. You will become you feel very vigorous. Then you come out and then start. You will feel very nice. Or you just keep on having hot shower. By the time you come out, you will start sweating. Point. Or if you have so much of cold water, you are frozen. You just come out, you can't do anything. That's not good either. This is how actually, scientifically, the way you have to take the shower, you have to take a blast of cold water. it becomes active. Then a blast of hot water, when all the sweat pores will open and all the dirt is washed out. And then you take a blast of cold water. The pores will close down and the skin becomes tight. That's how you're supposed to do it. And then come and sit for the puja. Okay? This is the Shuddhi part. Pardon? Now is the best time to do the puja. The reason I say now is, yes, normally they say morning, afternoon or evening, that's fine. But the moment you think you want to do puja is the best time. Because if I say morning, if you miss morning, you don't want to do it till the next morning. In this world, at least during these times, it doesn't help. We'll only find excuses for not doing it than reasons for doing it. So I would recommend, unless there are certain things, there are certain, say, Sandhya Vandanam, those things, they have to be done at a specific period. That is something else. But otherwise, the generic puja that you want to do, you do it whenever you feel like and you feel comfortable. Okay, the whole idea here, treat God the way you treat yourself, and God will treat you the way He treats Himself. That is the mindset you have got to adapt. You are asking something. Yeah. If you want to chant Lalita Sahasranamam, you can do it after the Amrita Maha Naivedyam, before Sarvopachara, before Sam. After Vam, before Sam. Chant Lalita Sahasranamam, then Sam Sarvopachara Pujan Samarpayam. You can just give it. Or there is also, but no, this is the ideal way you can do it. Otherwise, you will have to do the first invocation, then chant the whole thing, then do the Panchopachara Puja. But if you do that, by the time you come to the end of the Sahasranamam, you may even feel tired. I would rather, yeah, it's possible. So I would rather recommend you do it up to Vam, offer the Naivedyam, and before the Sarva Upacharam, you chant the Lalita Sahasranamam, offer Sarva Upachara Puja with the Nirajana. Okay? Any further questions? Huh? Kalasham. Pardon? Yeah, we can talk a little bit about it, but any other questions? Excuse me, Amma. Can you hold down a little bit here? That really helps. Please. Thank you so much. The class is going on. Yeah, please. What else? That's it? Oh, any bell is fine. Any bell is fine. But typically, this kind of bell would help. Brass would help, yes. In fact, there are even people who are particular. If you are doing a Vaishnavite kind of puja, they will use a bell of different kind. Amma, excuse me, not now, afterwards. Okay, yeah. Okay, so if you are doing a Vaishnavite kind of puja, you will use one particular kind of bell. So that bell, when you ring, you will get Ram, 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 that kind of sound. Whereas if you use the Shaivite kind of puja, the bell has a different resonating frequency. Okay? But otherwise, any of these two bells would be. There are some bells saying, kata, 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 that's the sound they make. That won't help. It should resonate, yeah, basically. That's the idea. Okay? You are asking something. Yeah, coconut, and that forms a part of Naivedyam. You can offer any Naivedyam. You want to offer coconut, so be it. If you want to offer your coffee, so be it. After the puja is over, have the coffee and get to work. Fair enough. Or a sandwich. Offer Naivedyam. Yeah, nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. Without Diksha. Yeah, there are certain mantra which you wouldn't want to chant without Diksha, no doubt about it. This one, there is nothing here that really needs the, whatever we taught till now, there is nothing there that you really need Diksha. But whatever you need Diksha, we are not talking about it here at all. Anything? Mm-hmm. Take two flowers, a white flower and a red flower. Put them together. That is your guru. That's it. Okay. Now about the Kalasham. The Kalasham is supposed to simulate your own body. Kalasham is supposed to simulate your own body. Your body is supposed to contain 70% of your body is water. Okay? And so is the Kalasham. Most of it is water. Okay? And the Kalasham has got those strands strung around it. Normally or typically or going by tradition or going by the actual rubrics of the requirement. Okay? It is supposed to have 72 iterations. The strands that go around the Kalasham. Each would represent 1,000 channels of energy in the flowing in the human. That's totally in the human body. There are supposed to be 72,000 channels of energy, which we call nerves. But nerve is not the actual. It is nadi in Sanskrit is not exactly equivalent to nerve. Because nerve becomes very physical. Nadi, in certain cases it is physical, in certain cases it is virtual. Okay? So there are 72,000 channels flowing through, traversing the whole human body. What do you call? Letting the energy flow through them and connecting one point to the other. So that would be the 72,000 nadis in your body. And then the coconut would form the head, and the kurcham will form the hair. That's why, Amma, when we do the puja, you are not supposed to focus anywhere. When you focus on the thing, you are going to form a crisscross connection with the Kalasham. You'll form a connection. So much so, until the puja is over, you are in constant communication, constant union with the Kalasham. That's why when you do the puja, what happens? Towards the end, some sarvopacharan, some samarpayami, you will do the harati. Okay? Then when you do the harati, you will take it around, and after that what you do? You will take it. So you will do that, you will collect that energy and deposit back into you. It's basically you are trying to get a heavy return on your investment. You invest your energy into the Kalasham and then perform this process to increase the energy of the Kalasham, and then you will take it back and deposit it into yourself. That's what you do there. Okay, this is a technique. Okay? That is about the Kalasham. Anything else?
Okay, so someone's asking about nyasam,
Okay.
like hand nyasam.
Yeah, nyasam, we did not talk about nyasam during this particular puja because this puja, nyasam is a kind of out of scope. Okay? Where do we have? Yeah, my bag, yeah, it is inside, deep inside. No, inside the, Adish, do you mind fetching my bag inside? I want to say why we do the nyasam and what exactly is significance, a small demonstration. Sorry, the black bag, yeah. Sorry, sorry, thank you so much. Okay. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. let me see whether it really happens or not. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. You see that? I remove the hand, it stops. Okay? Basically, it is that energy we are trying to capture. The methodology used to capture that energy is called Nyasa. Okay? If you place that mala here near the heart, it goes in the same this thing. If you put it near the Agna, it goes in the same direction. Okay? It is that energy we capture, and to that energy we add so many signatures. One signature is your mind, another signature is your voice, and this another signature is your movement. These three put together is Nyasam. The most common Nyasam we use is by using 6 mantras for which no initiation is required. That is Namaha. First one. First mantra is Namaha. Then Swaha. Phat. Vashate. Vaushate. And there's one more. The 6. Hrudayaya Namaha. Shirase Swaha. Shikhaye Vashate. Netra Kavachaya Hum. Netra Trayaya Vaushate. Astraya Phate. So these are the 6 mantras. With that chanting those mantras, you will touch various parts of the body. What I did right now, it is called Hridayadi Nyasam. Okay? And there are Anganyasam, Karanyasam. There is Mahashodasi Nyasam, Mahashodha Nyasam, Mula Mantra Nyasam, Vajrapanjara Nyasam. For each Nyasam, basically you capture this energy that is prevalent around you all the time. The more focused and more silenced you are, the better you will be in a position to capture that energy. When you capture that energy, just that energy will mean nothing. You are going to add, as I said, a signature. And then you will touch that particular part of the body to deposit that energy. That is Nyasa. And as a part of this puja for the beginners and puja in a nutshell, we did not include Nyasam as a part of it. Okay? That's about it.
Next question is for female deities. Can we offer kumkum instead of pushpam?
When you offer Gandham, along with Gandham, you can offer kumkum. Pushpam and Akshatas can replace each other. Okay.
Finally, if somebody wants to incorporate Ashtotra, like some Ashtotaram,
Yeah, same Ashtotram and Lalita Sahasranam kind of thing. You can do it just right after Avahanam or right after Naivedyam. These are the 2 places you can offer that. Okay?
okay.
That's it. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Thank you so much for attending. Okay? We request you guys to give some feedback as how things went, what we need to improve, how we should go about and things like that.
Yeah, I just wanted to also remind you, if some of you have not registered, please do, because then you will get the link to all of this material. The other thing is, normally we have this class in the cabin. It's a lot quieter. It's a lot of noise in the background today. Unfortunately, the internet has been down in the cabin, so that's the reason we had to have it here. So thank you for putting up with that. I'll send a feedback form out, so if you have any suggestions or other feedback, you can let us know. Thank you.
Okay. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. That's okay. Yeah. If you start doing it, it's going to be a big mistake. Thank you.